Greetings and welcome to Old Drunken Discography. I'm Jason. With me is Tim.
Hi.
And the wild, wild Bill.
Oh, never again, man.
And we rank albums.
And that's Jason.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody knows Jason.
I'm Jason.
Jason's been here since day one.
Day one. Never missed a day. And if I did, you didn't see that video.
Because it doesn't exist.
Each week, one of us picks an artist. This week, Bill picked Nickelback. Last week, Tim picked Queens of the Stone Age. Next week, I'm picking Propagandhi, another Canadian band. So if you like Nickelback, maybe check out Propagandhi. Who knows?
And then I'm just moving to Sweden for a month.
Yeah, because we got Ghost coming up, don't we?
Yeah.
I've made the sheet for it, and I'm really interested because it's gonna be weird. So
it's gonna be an interesting one.
It's gonna be a fun one. You guys don't want to miss it. Like and subscribe so you don't miss it. So we're talking Silver Side Up. Now this is the one I remember. This album cover. I remember this song, How You Remind Me. That's all I know about it. I went in blind.
I had heard Too Bad before, too. I remember that song.
Okay.
Who do you want to go first, Bill?
Well, I mean, you went first on first one, I went first on second one. So, I mean, I guess it's Tim's turn to go first. So, Tim, tell us why Nickelback's the worst band ever with this album.
They're not the worst band ever. Because there are other bands who are doing the same thing, not as well. And this is something I will give this album is for what Nickelback are doing, which is the exact same thing they've done the last two albums, which is kind of find a radio formula. You know, it's that Def Leppard. Are we hard rock? Are we country? We're not quite sure, but we're also alternative. But we're also on Roadrunner, so now we're actually tuning down to B.
Well, you gotta be post-grunge, too. Remember that.
Say?
But you also gotta be post-grunge. Remember that, too.
Well, okay, so... Yeah, I don't think post-grunge comes into this one.
Nah.
This is their first, just full-on pop album. And they're not going to deviate from that genre. But again, yeah, they're disguising it with, by dropping down to B, throwing on some distortion. Roadrunner clearly put some money behind this one. Yeah, but there's nothing here. It's the same thing from every album. Like, I put the album on, and about 25 seconds in, I was like, okay. And then, halfway through the second song, it's like, okay, I've heard this song before, and it's like, it's just there. And then the third song, I noticed that, the dishes needed to be done. So I went and did the dishes. And I got done with the dishes, and I came back, and we were on the sixth song, but it sounded exactly like I remembered from when I walked away. And so I was listening, and it was like the seventh song, and I noticed that the gutters needed to be changed. So I got in my car, and I drove down to Home Depot, and bought me some gutters and, some nice ladders and all kinds of good stuff. And I came back home. By the time I got home, we were on track 9. And it was like, okay, it's cool. So I'll re-shingle the roof and do the dishes and start a load of laundry. And
Wait, time out. You bought a ladder?
Yeah.
To hell with your ladder you had at home.
Well, I mean, sometimes you need a good ladder, and
we own a ladder.
And what better place to go to for a ladder than your local Home Depot, where they've got lots of ladders on sale right now, and you've got a choice. And it's like, I could get a little 2-step ladder, or I could get like a 6 or an 8, even an 8-foot extendable ladder. It's like it's all cool. But then I'm gonna get distracted because I'm gonna walk over to the lumber aisle, and they're gonna have some dude over there just cutting planks, or they're gonna have like an 18-year-old girl who's never used a skill saw before cutting planks.
Which would still be a
either
good
one's
time.
fun.
Yeah.
Either one, you're just there, you're hanging out. It's the lumber department. I'm good, and then Too Bad comes on over the loudspeakers at Home Depot, and everybody stops, and we're all like, we're rocking out, and we're throwing little pits in the lumber yard, and then the song's over, and it moves on to like some, Cardi B or whatever they're playing at Home Depot these days. I don't know. I mean, I do know because I've been there a lot in the last week listening to this discography. But for this particular trip, I was just there for, some gutters and a ladder.
Well, you went back
and then I just kind of hung the what?
You went back for the shingles, though, during Good Times Gone, right?
Well, yeah, I had to make multiple trips. You know how it is. You get in Home Depot and you just like, next thing you know, you're in the paint section and you're like, oh, that's a cool color. And, it's like, oh, I bet my foyer would look good as like a cream shell egg yellow. That could be fun. Yeah.
All right. I think this is the one where I read that Chad listened to the top 40 and he like picked and chose and like he came up with the perfect sound, what would make a single, and that's how they came up with everything going forward. But I'll give them credit. If you're in it for the money and you're in it for the fame, that's what you do. So this was my first time hearing this record. Never
Same.
Again.
Same.
I get it. The message of the song is great, but there's better songs out there covering the topic with better music. Go listen to Justified Black Eye by No Use for a Name, or She Got Arrested by the Interrupters. There's at least more than 4 chords in those songs. How You Remind Me, honestly, it's not that bad. It's crappy post-grunge pop radio rock, but it's catchy. Woke up this morning, boring, repetitive. I was falling asleep. Too bad. Do people think this rocks? Seriously. There's an attempt at a solo, but come on. I've heard shitty Ramones core pop punk bands have more interesting solos in a 1.5-minute song. Too Bad has no business being almost 4 minutes long. So far the best song on the record. The drums were doing something, so that was good. Towards the back half, there was about 15 seconds of holy shit, go on Nickelback with your bad self, but then it was over. Hollywood, my notes just say, ugh. Money Bought, maybe the bar has been set so low at this point, but that Money Bought sounded okay. It had a few tempo changes than the past songs, so that was cool. Where Do I Hide? I'll be damned, a guitar solo. Still a slow one, but it was something. Hangnail, 2 things to say about Hangnail. First, I was really disappointed on the second verse. When he says, and I don't see too well, don't sing too well, and so I settled to scream, and yet he doesn't scream it. And second, I finally figured it out. It's fucking Cat in the Hat. Every freaking song has the shortest, simplest rhyming lyrics that would make Dr. Seuss proud.
I got to correct you one little bit there. It's not the Cat in the Hat. It's the Cat in the Hat Strikes Back.
Oh, okay. Either way,
we add that. We slide the C in every other verse.
We'll get to some green eggs and ham later.
Yes, we will. One fish, blue fish.
And Good Times Gone. There you go, Nickelback. Get that slide guitar country going on. Got to cover all those top 40 charts. You never know where you're gonna hit.
Mm-hmm.
It's slightly better than every other watered down post Pearl Jam. Solus, Radio Ready, Godsmack, Papa Roach, Creed, Disturbed, Stain, Shinedown, See Their Puddle Mud, Hinder, Three Doors Down, Eve 6 bullshit. If you like those bands, you should like Nickelback too. Saying that, again, there is zero song growth from the first album or the second. Note, edit. I found out after hearing these albums and doing more research, Silver Side Up was actually fully written before The State even came out, which makes a lot more sense. Note, edit 2. After going through more of this discography, there was never really any growth in the music, so my original point still stands.
Bill?
All right. So, this is where we're getting to the Nickelback that I actually really know and to an extent love. And I'll use that word loosely here. So, Never Again. My notes for that one are okay. We got some guitar. I like it. Oh, wait. Where'd the guitar go? Ah, there it go. It's back again. For an opener, for Nickelback, I thought it was okay. Not overbearing, but it was okay. How You Remind Me, top song contender. I love how it changes the beat between the verse and the chorus. It's one of my favorite songs that Nickelback does. I love I've watched the music video with it, and it's, well, got some personal connections to it, so I'll just leave it at that. Love it as a song.
Nostalgia's a hell of a drug.
Oh my god, yeah. Woke up this morning. I thought it was an okay follow-up to How You Remind Me. It was decent, but not stellar for me, at least. Too Bad had an interesting start. I like the intro to the song. I actually liked the guitar solo on it. Jason didn't like it. I actually liked it. I thought it was an alright guitar solo. Above average, actually, is what I wrote for Nickelback. Which, hindsight 2020 doesn't say much after going through discography fully.
Yeah, I'll give it that. It's probably above average for solos for them.
But I thought it was still decent enough. Just for, I loved the beat of the song. I loved how it flowed. My biggest complaint with that one is I wish the lyrics would have been a little bit better. The thing is, I feel like if the lyrics had been better, it would have been a better song. That being said, I thought it was a good base. You laid a concrete foundation, and then you put straw on top, and invite the big bad wolf over, and then you'd be pissed off because he blew it down. Well, no shit, he blew it down. There was nothing there to start with. Well, no, there's something there to start with. There's nothing built after you started it. There we go. That's what I meant to say. Hollywood, I actually loved the sort of haunting sound behind it. That one grew on me a lot. Back when I was listening to 2002, 2003 to even now, with the discography. I really, actually, Hollywood got to be up there for me, for Nickelback songs. Money Bought, I thought it kind of dragged a little bit. But I kind of liked the song too as it got more and more going on. Where Do I Hide? For me, that song was basically a How You Remind Me reprise. Which does get to be a theme. Like, Nickelback only has probably 8. Well, let's see. They probably have 4 beats. And they have 6 melodies or pseudo melodies that they play off of. And then they just do some combination of those for all their songs. I will admit that.
And they're all page 2.
Yes.
Of songwriting 101. It's very predictable.
Yep. And it absolutely is. But I will say this: radio in 2000, that's what all the morons like me wanted to listen to. And I'll say that like that, as I did, because it's. I mean, you look
Well,
at.
but is that what you wanted to listen to, or is that what you were told
Was
to
being
listen to?
fed to you.
Because
yeah.
this brings up the industry plant.
Yeah, we're in the downloading era at this point.
This is the industry plant conversation, because I don't think Nickelback was an industry plant, but I think they were industry born.
They were already there, and the industry went, "Ooh, we're going to use this band that had a couple albums that were so publicly received, and we're going to utilize them for the industry." I would.
Well, and that's tied into what was going on in the live setting at that time, because unfortunately, this was my demographic that they were going after, where it was young dudes going to live shows, and that whole experience, as we're still seeing in 2024, it's a debate. Technology started becoming a thing where you didn't necessarily have to play an instrument anymore. And in 2024, now you don't have to do anything. AI does it all. But in 2000, there was still, like, digital was a thing, and MIDI was a thing. And, like...
I mean, they play their instruments.
Like, this album was made with a Line 6 pod. I don't know that for a fact, but I believe it to be true.
I mean, I wouldn't go to that extent.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far. Not yet, anyway.
I mean, look, I'll give you that
like
later on. I will give you that later on when we get to a certain album that you'll probably bring it up again, especially when we get to it.
It's a definite, we are writing songs that are radio friendly, that are pop friendly, to sell records, to make money, and to get famous.
Mm-hmm.
And vocally, we're either aggressively pursuing an outmoded way of dealing with women, we're remembering our childhood, or we're just having a good time.
I don't think they're quite there yet. I still think there's enough on this one that's... I mean, the opening track...
I'll give you...
I mean, it's been there since day one.
It has been there since day one, but it gets progressively worse.
It does get progressively worse. This is...
I don't think they're...
This isn't the height of it, but it's very subtly there. I mean, and then how you remind me, I know it's a huge hit, but it's like, what's the chorus? Yeah, no?
Are we having fun yet is actually the chorus. But I get what you're saying. Like, the chorus is repetitive on that one. I will absolutely give you that.
And really,
it isn't just, like, this is how you remind me of what I really am. It's not like sorry. I was waiting on a different story. This time I'm mistaken for another word, heartbreaking.
It's catchy.
I've been wrong. I've been down to the bottom of every bottle. Those 5 words in... Well, actually, it's not it's actually yet, and then
Yeah, I guess it's the post-chorus is what I'm referring to.
That's what you're referring to, yeah.
Yeah. Or is it the second 8? Whatever you want to call it.
Well, it'd be post-chorus. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Well, and that it's a post-chorus to the tag, absolutely, because the tag is where it actually goes from the to the no.
I do like the album cover. Like, it does tie into the name. Like, that's a pretty cool album cover.
Mm-hmm. Which I suppose I should probably finish.
I saw so many album covers that looked like that, though, in the early 2000s. That is some prime MS Paint, early beginnings of Photoshop format.
I think it's an actual painting, isn't it? I could be wrong. I didn't look up any details.
I was unable to dig too deep into that kind of thing.
Wasn't 2002 and 3 really the beginning of the MS Paint era?
Yeah, honestly, this kind of stuff. This probably
no. MS Paint's been around since Windows 95.
As big as this album was, it probably influenced the industry afterwards.
Yeah, yeah, and people were definitely people were doing it as early as like 96, 97. Where they were playing with Photoshop and whatnot. And I wasn't one, but I knew a couple people who were really into it. So if I thought really hard, I could remember program names, but you still had to get like the giant Xerox machine printer to like do stuff. And
No spoilers, but for 1993, I'm making the sheet right now, and I filled out Tim's. There was an album cover that I have questions about. That
yeah, no, we
is
shouldn't show that.
no, not that one, not that one. It's a different one. It looks like it's from the
Oh,
future.
even better. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, Bill. We done hijacked you.
No, you guys are more than fine. Like, I mean, because the last two songs here were Hangnail and Good Times Go. For Hangnail, this that was a track on this album. After all these years, I'm still not sure how I actually feel about it.
Well, because we've heard it already on this album, right? Both of these songs.
Well,
We've heard on the side A. It's the exact same song in the exact same key with the exact same rhythm, with the exact same songwriting pattern, with the exact same rhyme scheme.
I didn't. My notes is when I figured out the Cat in the
But we
Hat.
moved it to a triplet feel. You know,
but
like
I mean, to an extent, yes, but like, I don't know. Was it? They had their 4 different beats and their 8 different melodies, and so ultimately you have 32 combinations possible, right?
and
Which I
we're
feel
on
like
album number 3, so we've hit the limit. I get it. Okay, that makes so much more sense.
no, not yet, because they limit to this. I don't think any album has more than 11 tracks on it, right?
No.
But this would be 33.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the end.
And where
so
do I
next...
and Where Do I Hide was already the reprise from How You Remind Me.
Yeah.
Like, Tim.
Maybe so I can only count to 16.
I mean, Tim, I definitely get what you're saying though with Hangnail. Like, thing is, Hangnail's different enough.
Is it though? Is it though? That's always my question, and that's been my question for 25 years.
Oh no, yeah.
Because I watched the world embrace this. You know, every album comes out, it goes quadruple fucking diamond or whatever, and I'm like, it's the same thing they just did.
Well, it's radio rock though. Like that's
it works.
I mean,
that's your goal. It works.
Should it though? And this is one of the things that I'm not going to try to get too deep into this, but this is where like I start thinking exponentially, like as a species.
Do we want to divulge to this? No. I will answer.
Then why are we buying it by the truckload? Why are we not like? I mean, any sort of, again, there's nothing here that was unexpected.
Nope.
Everything fits the scales perfectly. It's all page 2 songwriting. You do part A, then you do part B, then you repeat. You
don't have a key change. I will agree wholeheartedly with all of that. Thought it out.
And I would think in the information age of human history, where people have billions of songs at their fingertips, that people on an individual level could choose to be more adventurous than something they've already heard.
I mean, 2001's pretty early though. Like that's there's no streaming, there's no.
It was Torrents, it was SoulSeek, it was Kazaa, it was Napster. Like people were exploring.
But here's the thing: I'll add as like a thing to think about, right? So you've got me, right? I'm 25 years old.
Sure.
Right? So I should.
Perfect time to start going. I should have more.
Yep. But like, what was it that I grew up with? Papa Roach, Seether, Puddle of Mud, Creed, Nickelback, Bush, everything that Jason references every single time with all these albums. And he's not wrong. That's what we had. Like, that's what I listened to growing up.
But it's not what you had. It was And I'm not
That's what was
gonna.
on the
I don't want to
radio, though.
generalize and say like you personally didn't explore other avenues or whatnot, or I don't want to generalize and say an entire generation didn't explore other avenues, because obviously people are going to find whatever they're attracted to, and I totally
that's
for it.
every generation's gonna have
Yeah,
people that don't
sure.
explore.
But like, I mean,
But
I'll
you've
say,
got to want to like go like, like I've never heard of the Dead Milkmen before. What's that?
well, and that's, I mean, that's, well, I've talked with Jason. I mean, that's the whole point. Like me, especially coming out here, like discover, like, hey, I've never heard Descendants before. What are Descendants?
You also gotta remember though, 2001 is also it's not like it was in the 90s where we had at least had avenues, even if they were still mainstream, like MTV.
Yeah, the
And
Telecommunications Act of '96 is
that
probably in full
really,
effect here, and we're in a post-war America
yeah,
where
they literally had a song called Hero. That's what blew up, and it was around the same time as this and 9/11 and Spider-Man, which was huge, and it all just America just latched on to that.
and the Canadians all laughed.
They wanted something simple and, they didn't have to think about. They didn't have to put any thought into it.
And that's, I mean, that,
And I totally accept and understand that response. The response I had, which, whatever, this is just my personal opinion.
Oh, we're Gen
But
X
instead of
too.
becoming complacent and just accepting what was given to me, I was more active in searching out avenues that were better suited towards my lifestyle, belief system, economic structure, and location.
Yep, absolutely. And that's, I mean, and I'll say, like, to follow up that, I mean, that's right, wrong, or indifferent. That's how I got into country music.
It tied intrinsically. Go back and watch our Def Leppard video.
Yep.
We're going to get to Mutt Lang here pretty soon. And if you're a fan of these episodes and our little program here where we just write the same song every time, go back and watch Def Leppard.
I was talking to not Joe, Grease the other night about Bill. I was like, it's super interesting. Like, I'm interested to hear Bill's side of things and his influence. I mean, because he's talked highly of shit like Meatloaf, of 80s hair metal bands, 90s grunge bands, and yeah, they're all on the radio, of course, but still, it's such a eclectic. Pink Floyd,
It's eclectic, yeah.
It's a very
but
interesting.
There is that window of time in like 93, 94 where all of those things did converge. And that would make sense for probably Bill's parents, one of them.
Yeah, but then you also have like Billy Joel and Peter Gabriel. Like, it's an interesting.
Sure, yeah.
Like, I'm intrigued by Bill's musical environment.
Yeah.
It's completely
I
different
too.
than
I
us.
agree. Not to talk about you like you're in the room or anything, Bill.
Oh no, you guys are more than fine. Like I was interested to see, just bringing Nickelback to the table, what conversations we'd have about it.
We're gonna have some more.
Oh yeah,
It set me on a journey for sure.
I'm looking forward to what we discuss here in the next couple albums, because I think I know what Tim's gonna say about the next 3 albums.
Like, I don't have a
After
problem.
that, I'm not sure.
I don't have a problem with Silver Side Up for what it is. It is a pop album, and I think what it does well. It's different enough. I don't want to use the word different, but it's cleaned up enough from the first 2 records that
it follows all the rules.
It's a very safe record. I mean, there's
it
no other
follows
safer
all the
record.
rules.
But for what it does, I think it does well, and I think this is where they put themselves above all the other rock acts at the time, I guess.
Well, they were competing with fellow Roadrunner label mates Slipknot at this time.
Yeah, this is when
And
Slipknot
then I don't
was
know
their
what
biggest.
label Linkin Park was on, but this was the time when Linkin Park were huge.
They were.
And then culturally, everybody was about reality shows and pop punk.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think pop punk's. Yeah,
Well-
yeah. No, this is pop punk territory. Yeah,
Yeah,
this is like
And-
post Enema of the State.
So this
Yeah.
is post and it's pre-Mallcore.
And a lot of country, like Toby Keith is huge at this time.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
pre Mallcore.
Dixie Chicks. Yeah, it's pre-Mallcore, but this is sowing the seeds for Mallcore.
Yep. Which it's kind of, it's just like did Nickelback make Mallcore have to come around?
No, I
That's
mean,
why I
we
really want
go
to
back
do.
and don't watch our Green Day video that we'll never release. But Green Day kind of.
You think Green Day started Mallcore?
They're
geez,
they're
baby.
on the Rushmore.
Oh, geez, baby.
They're on the Rushmore.
We'll get back to Green Day soon.
Yeah, we will.
Oh yeah, that'll be another one we'll cover eventually.
But no, I think I don't know. I don't know what else to say about Silver Side Up.
I mean, I'll just, in conclusion, for me, I'll say this was one of the first. This was probably in the first 4 albums that I got introduced to with Nickelback myself. Just like, hey, I like this song. Like, what else did they have on it? This is one of the first Nickelback albums I was exposed to that I exposed myself to.
So would have this been one of the first like albums in whole that you're looking at? Because I know during this decade and your age, you're
Yep.
probably just exposed to mixtapes and singles.
No, he's like
Yep.
he's 4 years old at this point.
I'm 4 years old. I'm listening to radio, strictly
Okay,
radio.
yeah, sure. Okay, yeah, you don't even care. Okay.
Yep. But so that's what I'm saying. So it wasn't until, I mean, really, I mean, if I'm being honest here, it wouldn't be until I went to college really in 2016. That's when I
Okay,
really started to go into like, what else did this band do that would have existed at this point in time of this single to explore?
I think that's where I don't know. When I heard Nirvana, I got obsessed with Nirvana. I would see Kurt or Chris wear a Dinosaur Jr. shirt. Well, what is that? I would go check it out. Or Sonic Youth, where they talk
Or they
about
get thanked in liner notes. Like,
Right.
hey, we're thinking these 12 bands. And
Same-
it's like, you check out those 12 bands.
exactly. You always look at the thank yous. Green Day, they cover. You know, I went with Dookie, and then they got 2 earlier albums. I got Kerplunk. I got Slappy Hours. Oh, there's a cover by a band called Operation Ivy called Knowledge. Well, I like that song. They covered them. Fuck yeah. And then you kind of like branch off from there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you find the good shit.
Like,
I
I mean,
had a rancid comment in my personal life just this week because I had to give my information out. And they're like, oh, are you the singer in Rancid?
Oh, I know. I was like, what? Special
no,
guest
I'm not.
Tim Armstrong. We got Tim Armstrong this week, guys.
I'm used to it.
I don't think music was consumed the same in 2001. I think this is when there was a lot of editing and narrowing down, and you
This
can
is
see
Yeah,
it.
see, 2001 is where I'm deep into internet stuff. Like I'm into like 4 or 5 different scenes. I'm also going out to shows all the time, so I'm seeing live stuff. And I'm not just in my city; I'm going regional. And at this point, also like this is really where I really started getting into vinyl. And
I
like
was deep
finding
into Fat
bands that were
Records.
still putting out LPs or even 7-inches. Like,
I'm deep
no,
into
don't
into
give me
Fat
just
Records.
fluff. Give me a product.
But we're also Bill's 4 years old at this point, so
And
actually, not
so,
even. I'm
yeah.
3.
So you ask about a personal, connection to the band. Like at this point, I'm a full grown adult who's
Yeah.
been doing music professionally for a decade.
Where I'm just sitting there, oh, it was played on the radio. I liked it. Yay.
Sure. Yeah. No, and so I listen to this and I think back to like, okay, so the decade I was listening to the radio because I didn't know any better was the 80s.
Def Leppard, AC/DC.
Paula Abdul, Technotronic, Run DMC, Joe Jackson, Michael
Every
Jackson. Like,
rose has its thorn.
I feel like after Nirvana, music on the corporate level, which I don't want to be like all like, corporate rock still sucks or whatever, because I like Steely Dan, but after Nirvana, it just deteriorated into, I mean, country pop. We're just country hard rock pop at this point.
Which would probably be my music preference as a whole. Which would be interesting.
Sure, yeah, because as a musician, I feel like that is the nadir of artistic expression.
All right, so let's rank it. We're talking Silver Side up. Whose turn is it to guess? Bill guessed the first one, right? So it's my turn to guess.
I think it's my turn to guess, or is it your turn?
Well, Bill guessed last time, right?
Oh, yeah, he did.
So
Let's see, I wanted to steal that first guess.
Just for clarity, I'm going to go down the ranks here. I'm going to say Bill has it at number 1. Easy.
Of these albums, absolutely. I will. Good job.
I don't know why, but Tim is always the fucking hardest to figure out. I'm going to say he's got it at number... It's either number 3 or number 1.
At this point in the discography, it feels wrong to say one's better than the other or not.
All right, well then I'm going to put it for number 1 for you then.
That sounds good to me.
At this point in the discography, it is my number 1. I think. No. It's my number 2. Sorry.
Interesting. I would have definitely got this wrong for all of us.
I don't remember my reasoning. But it is what it is. The color code will tell all.
Every time.
Yeah, his eyeballs, like, they look weird when there's 3 of them staring at you. Anyway, we're going to wrap this up. Stick around. We're talking The Long Road. Not The Long Road to Ruin.
This one was good.
By the Foo Fighters. Just The Long Road by Nickelback. Be safe. Make good decisions.